You're watching Shotoku Tech Story Time, Best of the Moon. File this under losing your attraction. The moon lost its magnetic field after its internal dynamo shut down 1 billion years ago. Apparently, scientists have been able to analyze lunar rocks and determine that the moon had a magnetic field, but as the core is fully crystallized now, it's all but disappeared. NASA wants to grow a moon base out of mushrooms. They're saying that they can grow mushrooms using just photosynthetic bacteria and water, and then heat treat these resulting mushrooms and turning them into compact bricks. The European Space Agency has opened a lab where they're extracting oxygen from simulated moon dust. Oxygen apparently is rather common on the moon, but it's bound with other minerals, so they need to come up with a process to release it. Here they're splitting a particle of dust from moon rocks that were collected from the Apollo 17 mission all the way down to each minute atom using atom probe tomography. Interesting stuff. It says they'll help determine how to best extract vital minerals and resources from lunar soil. NASA selects Masten Space Systems to deliver cargo to the moon in 2022. That's interesting. Yeah, this company is being selected to deliver technical payloads and help set up permanent scientific exploration there. The company has a XL-1 lander, and they're required to land on the moon and operate for at least 12 days post-landing. The XL-1 lander, developed by Masten, is an evolution of lander designs that took part in and won the NASA Centennial Northrop Grumman Lunar Lander X Prize Challenge in 2009. They're going to be looking for the presence of gases that indicate water. Here's a good one. Scientists use Apollo data to create the best geologic moon map ever. Basically, the United States Geological Survey, USGS, in collaboration with NASA and the Lunar Planetary Institute, have created this comprehensive geologic map of the moon. They've combined data from the last 50 years, including recent satellite data and Apollo data. Yeah, you'll want to explore this link for yourself. This is a positive note. NASA lays out Artemis Accords for responsible moon exploration, and I think we all need to get more familiar with what's actually in the Outer Space Treaty that's been ratified by over 100 nations. So obviously NASA, with their Artemis program, aims to be on the moon in 2024 and establish a sustainable human presence by 2028. So they're discussing bedrock principles that foreign partners will have to abide by. This will be done on bilateral agreement based on the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. Space exploration should be conducted for peaceful purposes only, and that's the core of the Artemis Accords. Transparency. There will be a requirement to publicly disclose exploration plans and policies and make scientific data available. The ability to extract and utilize resources on the moon, Mars, and asteroids will be critical to support safe and sustainable space exploration and development. So the Artemis Accords reinforce space resource extraction and utilization. Another OST tenet, prevention of harmful interference by one nation in off-Earth affairs of another. That's an interesting statement there. Specifically, via the Artemis Accords, NASA and partner nations will provide public information regarding the location and general nature of operations, which will inform the scale and scope of safety zones. Notification and coordination between partner nations to respect such safety zones will prevent harmful interference. And that's in Article 9 of the Outer Space Treaty. So, like I say, I think we want to study up on this Outer Space Treaty to understand where things are headed. NASA has selected Astrobotic to fly water hunting rover to the moon. So when you consider that we're going to be spending time on the moon over an extended period, Obviously, we need water. Another cool thing about water is you can break it down into hydrogen and oxygen and develop a variety of products, including rocket fuel. So this Viper rover from Astrobotic is going to be exploring the lunar surface at the poles looking for water. This is all part of NASA's plan to work with commercial partners in developing space exploration. Industrial partners can quickly deliver scientific instruments and technology demonstrations to the moon. Astrobotic is responsible for end-to-end services for delivery of Viper, including the integration within its Griffin lander, a launch from Earth, and landing on the moon. And it's going to wind up on the moon's south pole. It's going to roam over several miles and use 4 different science instruments to sample various soil environments in search of water ice. That's a 100 Earth Day mission.
Talking about the moon, why does the near side and the far side look so different? The near side of the moon is characterized by dark patches known as lunar maria. These are plains of dark basalt that were formed by the moon's ancient volcanic activity. The other side of the moon, the one facing away from Earth, has a paler appearance due to fewer lunar marias on the surface. Also, this side of the moon has a thicker crust. So they've made a thermal model of the moon and discovered another major difference between the near and far side. They find that the side of the moon facing the Earth is unusually rich in various elements such as potassium, phosphorus, and other rare earth elements. The element-rich region has been labeled as Prosolarum creep terrain based on the atomic symbols of the elements in the area. Previous observations have revealed that this region has heat-generating properties due to its abundance of radioactive elements. According to researchers, these properties may have led to high volcanic activity in the area.
Okay, I have to be honest, they don't pay me enough for this shit, but NASA wants you to design a toilet for missions on the moon. They've issued a challenge offering $35,000 for the top concept. Space toilets are already in use. They're designed for microgravity only. That's when you're weightless. But the new toilets need to be able to work in lunar gravity, where your excrement will have 1/6 of its weight. So it could bounce off of the bowl. Anyway, I'm not going to delve into this anymore, but I'm waiting for SpaceX to come out with the drop seat on their space outfits. It'll be interesting to see. Elon Musk, ring me up. We can split the 35 grand. Okay, I didn't need to see this, but thank you very much. We're going to stop right now.
Okay, so we could begin mining on the moon as early as 2025. NASA, using their miniature radio frequency instrument aboard the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, finds that the lunar subsurface contains a higher concentration of certain metals such as iron and titanium, much more than originally estimated. There's this theory that the satellite was formed when a Mars-sized object collided with the Earth, vaporizing large portions of the Earth's upper crust. By improving our understanding of how much metal on the moon's subsurface actually has, scientists can constrain the ambiguities about how it was formed, how it is evolving, and how it is contributing to maintaining habitability on Earth. The evidence was discovered while scientists were looking for ice at the bottom of craters in the lunar North Pole region. It means that fine dust found at the base of those holes are parts of deeper layers of the moon ejected during meteor impacts. As such, this dust represents the composition in deeper moon layers. The moon may be getting rusty, and it's likely the Earth's fault. We know rust is a combination of iron, water, and oxygen. Even Mars gets its nickname the Red Planet from this combination. But not all celestial environments are optimal for rust, especially the moon. It has no atmosphere. It's a terrible place for rust to form. While they're examining the data from this moon mineralogy mapper, they look at the poles and they find iron-rich rocks, hematite, and it's a specific type of iron oxide or rust. We know there's water on the moon trapped in craters on the moon's poles, but where's the oxygen coming from? You need this oxidizer. And the sun's solar wind actually prevents oxidation because it provides hydrogen, which prevents rust. Well, the moon, we know, doesn't have its own atmosphere, but perhaps Oxygen from the Earth's atmosphere is trailing along in this elongated extension of the Earth's magnetic field called the magnetotail. And the Earth's magnetotail can reach all the way to the near side of the moon. During a full moon, the magnetotail blocks 99% of the solar wind, drawing a temporary curtain over the lunar surface, allowing time for rust to form. The moon is mostly devoid of water, so where is that coming from? There's frozen water found in lunar craters on the moon's far side, far from where most of the hematite was found. But researchers are saying fast-moving dust particles that bombard the moon might free water molecules locked in the moon's surface layer, allowing the water to mix with the iron. And some of these particles may even be carrying water molecules themselves. This reshapes our knowledge about the moon's polar regions and the Earth's role in the evolution of the moon's surface. NASA is willing to pay for dirt on the moon. And what's interesting about this story, they're looking for proposals from private companies that would land on the moon and collect a small amount of rocks or dirt from any location on the moon's surface, along with a photo of the collection process and the resulting sample. And then you don't need to bring it back to Earth, you just hand it to NASA in place on the moon. So the proposal is that you collect this material before 2024 and hand off the ownership. So if you're awarded this contract, you'll get 10% up front, another 10% at the launch of your vehicle, and then the final 80% of the contract once the sample is collected by NASA on the moon. Seems like an interesting proposition.
Radiation levels on the moon may be more than double those in the space station. Researchers with the German Aerospace Center in Cologne developed this lunar lander neutron and dosimetry sensor, and this sensor was placed on the Chang'e lunar probe from China. They've determined that radiation levels may be as much as 2.6 times greater than those measured on the International Space Station. For comparison, passengers on board a flight from Germany to New York are exposed to dose rates 5 to 10 times lower than that, and on the Earth's surface, radiation rates are more than 200 times lower than what was measured by this device on the Chinese lander. Astronauts will have to shield themselves from extended exposure to this radiation.
Does this suit make my butt look big? Just kidding. Anyway, NASA is testing the first new spacesuit that they've developed in 40 years, and they're doing it underwater. This new suit is called the Exploration Extravehicular Mobility Unit, or XEMU, and it needs to protect the astronauts from the harsh lunar environment. It's a lot more dicey than what we've been experiencing in low Earth orbit on the International Space Station. A lot of progress of this suit's been overshadowed by the big ticket hardware such as rockets and spacecraft. But this represents the first new spacesuit that NASA has developed in over 40 years. And things are looking on schedule. They plan on building 5 of these XEMU suits in this initial batch. The first one is almost done and should be completed in December. A second unit will be built for qualification testing, and a third will be tested in orbit on the International Space Station. The final 2 suits will be used to walk on the moon in 2024 as part of the NASA mission called Artemis 3. Each Artemis astronaut will require an internal cooling garment. I think we could use that here in Arizona. That would be nice. Cool underwear. So they've completed this first prototype of that undergarment, and the agency needs to upgrade the backpack-light portable life support systems that the astronauts carry to stay alive. That's also in the works. So they're getting a good sense of how this new suit will perform on the moon by testing it underwater. Engineers can mimic different levels of gravity underwater, like low Earth's orbit, microgravity, and Moon's 1/6 gravity. And underwater, astronauts can get a feel for moving around in the suit. Well, you just can't keep Nokia down. Here, NASA has awarded it $14.1 million
to deploy a cellular network on the moon. Yeah, it's going to start out with that 4G LTE, and they'll probably get 5G just like the rest of us. This could support lunar surface communications at greater distances, increase speeds, and provide more reliability than their current standards. So on Monday, scientists from NASA announced that they've found water on the moon's sunlit surface. This is really amazing. It's up to 20% more water than was previously expected to be found on the moon. So more than 15,000 square miles of lunar terrain have the capability of trapping water in the form of ice. We know there's tons of ice in the permanently shadowed craters of the moon's poles. But this is, like I say, 20% more than the previous estimates. The presence of water in sunlit surfaces has previously been suggested but not confirmed. You might remember on Shikoku Tech Saturday Storytime just a few weeks ago, we talked about how the side of the moon that faces the Earth actually is rusty. So we know there's water there. It's just how it gets there and how to access it are two questions that we still need to resolve. NASA's missions to the moon are still planning to go to the lunar South Pole, which is especially rich in frozen water. Thank you for watching Shikoku Tech Saturday Story Time. Make sure to follow the link down below in the description to this Blogspot article that has all of the URLs to the stories we just talked about. Thank you and have a great week. Thank you for watching Shikoku Tech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.